UUU. It's framed as an urgent, strong buy recommendation.
And that title, Urgent UUU Stock Alert, that sets a pretty high bar for precision and timing, doesn't it?
It really does. So let's start with the structure. The piece does a great job outlining the fundamentals. You know, the China catalyst, that big Q3 revenue beat?
Smashing estimates by nearly 80%, yeah.
Exactly. And the growth projections are massive. But then the technical part, the actual entry point, it felt like an appendix.
That's the biggest opportunity right there. The material needs to structurally align those technical entry points with that really compelling fundamental story.
So it's not just tacked on at the end?
Right. Right now you have the RSI mentioned, that critical 12 to 1230 support level, but it's at the end. It completely fails to capitalize on the urgency from that initial price dip the article mentions.
Okay, I see that. But how do you do that without, bogging down the story with a bunch of technical jargon right up front?
Well, it's all about framing. Once you establish that $28 price target, that's when you hit them with it. You immediately connect the current low price to the fact that it's holding that critical support level.
So you make the price itself the hook.
Precisely. You frame the current price, say $12.78, as a very specific time-sensitive window. That need for a close above $13 becomes the immediate call to action, not just a random technical note at the end.
That makes sense. Okay, let's pivot from opportunity to risk. The report does flag two things: a drop in the wider uranium ETF, URA, and this is the big one, recent insider selling by the CEO, Mark Chalmers.
And this is my second major point. To maintain any credibility with an urgent strong buy headline, you have to contextualize that insider selling immediately.
You can't just list it as a risk factor and move on.
You absolutely cannot. Just listing it without any justification, it just kills your credibility. It's a massive countersignal, and you have to show the reader why it's not the red flag it appears to be.
But then are you spending too much time defending a negative? Doesn't that sort of undermine the strong buy conviction you're trying to build?
Not if you do it right. You actually lean into it. Reframe the risk by asking the question yourself, right in the text. Something like, so why should we trust the 75% strong buy consensus when the CEO himself is selling?
And then you answer it.
And then you answer it. Immediately. You explain if the sales were pre-scheduled or if it was a tiny fraction of his holdings. You master the counter-argument so the reader doesn't have to worry about it.
Got it. Okay, third and final point. The core of the thesis really hinges on the White Mesa mill and the so-called China catalyst.
Right. And my feedback here is that you have to sharpen the specificity of that catalyst. That's what will really elevate the report.
Because just saying China catalyst involving new export restrictions is a bit vague?
It's more than vague. It's common knowledge at this point. It lacks that proprietary punch you need for an urgent alert. It feels like a summary, not expert analysis.
So we need to move from a generic idea to a verifiable, timely policy.
Exactly. Anchor it to something real. Don't just say restrictions. Cite a specific policy. Give a date. For instance, you could say, the direct supply benefit here stems from the specific Chinese policy name that was announced last month.
Which directly impacts a specific competitor.
Yes. That makes UUU's domestic position quantifiable, and more importantly, it makes it truly urgent.
Okay, that's incredibly actionable. So the three big moves are: first, integrate the technicals to create an immediate call to action on the entry price. Second, proactively address the CEO insider selling to build trust. And third, get really specific on the China catalyst to prove unique expertise.
That's it. You focus on those three things, and this thesis becomes much more powerful and convincing. Take these points, refine the material, and we'd love to see it again.